Triple pop.
Trip pops.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 82 of CMD Tower's Brews and Builds. I'm Mr. Commodore 5 and my fellow host will be seizing the day with me today, watching the Justice League Snyder Cut, Big Tuck.
Woo! Hello, angels and angels, because I'm pretty sure it's a non-gendered word. I am losing my mind, so I don't have a lot of bits to go off of because I'm slowly becoming a ball of panic with my move on the horizon. But it's a Thursday. We're gearing up for the big show this weekend, so hang in there. And Mr. Combo, I will say this. You look. Are you a big Joseph Gordon-Levitt fan?
He's all right.
Okay, because you're looking 50-50 today.
Oh my God!
Wow!
Yeah, right. That's how you do it. Now that's entertainment, baby.
Cut the recording. We're done for the day. We're done.
That's it. Because your skin looks great. I don't know if you've gotten some sun or if it's just left over from Mexico. That was like months ago. I can't think
weeks ago.
I can't think in these days. Right? It doesn't matter. It's all just a construct. But you do look like you might have had a late night, maybe once this weekend, or maybe once this week.
I actually haven't been going to bed at like 8 or 8:30.
What?
Yeah, look, it's the fiance's birthday week. She really does like hanging out in bed, getting the cuddle action on.
I bet.
And usually I'm the one that's like, I can't go to bed that early, and I don't want to sit in bed and watch TV because I'll fall asleep and be up at 4 a.m.
Right. So
I usually stay up to like 11 or so, then go to bed. But it's her birthday week. Turning the big 2-6. It's not even a big 2-6. And she was like, "Come on, it's my birthday week," and it's like, shit. All right, fine. So I've been going to bed early.
Did you just lie in bed, or are you just like I gotta move?
The early bird special for dinner at like 3 p.m.
No, I end up throwing on like Modern Family and just like have it on like low volume to have some noise there.
Sure.
I got these drops I take. It's Sleepnia. You can get it at Walgreens. I put this out there for the collective. It is a legal drug, and it's about $20 for a month's supply, and it's a drop that you put under your tongue. Tastes like weird chocolate. It will knock you the hell out.
Seriously?
It's phenomenal. Oh, man, Tuck.
Look, I got to talk about this because you were all talking about those CBG cigarettes and your Delta 8s and all that crap. I smoked that CBG cigarette. It didn't do shit. I sat there.
Seriously? I've been hating
Funny thing about that, Squee, did The Godfather tell you about all the Omega 8 bud I got?
I heard about it. I don't think he told me
smoke
about it.
It looks legitimately like marijuana.
No, I've heard that stuff before, and I've smoked it, and it doesn't do anything.
Or if you will, the preferred nomenclature, the devil's lechuga. Right. Let's get it right here, people.
I think that the term. But speaking of the Godfather, I was smoking the CBG cigarette last night, and the term that I
was smoking a J with Peter Fonda,
a non-alcoholic J. But basically, it felt like I was drinking one of those non-alcoholic Budweisers. I was like, "This is a goddamn waste. What am I doing here?"
Now, to be fair, Squee, I won't. Correct me if I'm wrong. Out of the three of us, I would wager to guess that you, in the entirety of your life, or if I may, the last 6 months, have smoked more of the Lechug than Mr. Combo or I have in the entirety of our lives.
Look, THC has never.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
THC has never touched this temple here. Never.
I see.
Actually, you're absolutely correct. I probably smoked more weed than the entire collective combined, other than I don't know what y'all.
But I feel like the demon poop likes to get a little tokey sometimes.
No, dude, it's rabbit. Rabbit crossfades like an animal, like a legitimate animal. So last thing on this CBG thing, because Mr. Combo, now that you're more into that, but you don't do the Lechug, I'll bring you one at the Snyder thing, and we can split it or whatever and see what happens. Because I swear, man, it was like my brain was encased with hard shell candy for like 3 days.
I'm more than welcome to try it. The thing that was disappointing for me is, and I think we mentioned this on the cast a few weeks or a month or so ago, I had an Omega 8 gummy. Me and Tuck split it, and we were feeling great for the rest of the night. I ended up getting real sleepy. And I do use that as a sleep supplement some nights where I'm really wired and I need to wind down. And so I got this bud because I was like, hey, I could put it in my hookah get the same effect,
Oh,
be able to
cool.
do the thing I enjoy. And me and the Godfather, we went through probably, I don't know, Squee, or like when they're all together, is that a bud?
Oh, when like the little flower, like the whole chunk flower?
It looks like a little hop, if you will.
Yeah, that's a bud.
Okay, so we would do a bud, a bowl, which should like zonk you out, and all it did was make it taste like weed, but you got no cooldown, nothing.
No, that's all that
Dude,
stuff is. It's all the fun smells and tastes that'll get you in trouble, and none of the fun effects.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I had the same brain problems after doing that gummy with you. Like, maybe my brain just isn't wired for this stuff.
I mean, I
can't stop. You can't stop the train, the tuck train.
You're a tobacco man, not a wacky tobacco man.
That's true. Well, yeah. Now I'm just on the nicotine. Speaking of which, this is a reverse sound effect. As I had one in for like the last hour.
Jesus. Well, Tuck, I know that you are overanalyzing and getting stressed about your move.
Correct.
Let me just tell you, as someone who has moved, I'd say as often as you have, it's okay. Breathe. It'll be all right.
Yes, I know.
You and I are meticulous planners, so it'll be okay.
Right. Yeah. I did just sell a bunch of furniture, so that made me feel good. So yeah.
Are you sleeping on a cot now?
Oh, his house is quite sparse. I was there last evening, and the living room it looked like nobody had moved in yet.
Yeah, and this is like the only thing I'll say, and then we can move on, is like the only thing that's different is I have never had, because I've always lived in like a room of an apartment or a room of a house or whatever, so I've never had this much stuff that like I've accumulated, and that's kind of being like, okay, what do I want to take on that? But you're right. It'll all be okay, and I'll be doing whatever I'm going to be doing in Charlotte, which I can't even think about. But my dad was like, hey, do you want to go on a hunting trip with me in the fall? I was like, Dad, I'm not going to lie to you. That date might as well just be like the resurrection of Jesus Christ, because it's so far in advance that I cannot even like begin to comprehend it.
Gosh. Well, guys, thanks for tuning into the episode. And as always, with his Manolith commentary from the Rich Chaos Records studio, Squee McGee.
Hey, everybody, it's Squee McGee. Happy to be here. Still coming down off that banger CBDG cigarette. Don't bother. If you're spending that much money on that, just buy some real weed and have a good time. Goddamn.
Hey, Squee, they gave it to me for free. I wasn't going to turn them down.
Okay, that's fair.
What, were you buying a bunch of other stuff and they just gave it to you?
Yeah, I mean, I ended up buying like the thing of Omega 8, the bud. I bought some gummies. I got some hookah tobacco. And they're like, hey, do you want some CBD cigarettes for free? And I was like, okay. And then they also gave me a handful of Chief face masks.
Wow.
And like a gator.
Hey, just remember, you're my number one customer.
Well, since we're diving back into it, Tuck, I smoked the CBDG cigarette, had it, felt nothing. Immediately smoked a bowl right after. Felt wonderful. So that's your level of effect.
But Tuck, maybe it was the delayed effect from the CBDG.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like the boat. Like maybe this is like the on ramp, right?
These were so like 10 minutes from each other.
I was like, you're like, I'm not ready to try weed yet. So
still functional and not feeling like I couldn't move or anything. Anyways. This is just new. I guess I got to change my Discord name to Stoner Squee.
Tracks. I'd say that tracks.
Look,
everyone gets stoned.
The devil's lettuce, the electric lettuce. The electric.
I've also heard the term jazz cabbage, which I think is pretty good.
Is not bad. I would like to make an album called Jazz Cabbage. Maybe I'll work on that. Maybe I'll name my EP Jazz Cabbage.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, if you want to know more ways to support the CMD Tower team and
our crippling CBD habits,
or just our crippling substance addictions, whether it's CBD, mead, the jazz cabbage, or any of the content we put out, which hopefully while you're supporting
cardboard.
us.
Head
over to our sponsor, level1gameshop.com. They sell everything you need from a tabletop gaming perspective, like dice, play mats, different board games. Even like I saw that they ran some contests where people were painting miniatures, like for some big, I don't know, risk-like game. I don't know what it is, but I always see people in card shops playing it.
Warhammer
figurines.
Warhammer.
Sorry. So I was very confused. You're like miniature. I was like, miniature what?
Miniature horses, duh.
Got it.
But yeah, maybe it's Warhammer. I don't know. But no, and that seemed like really cool stuff. So yeah, head over to their shop, buy some stuff. Just let them know that CMD Tower sent you, and make sure you give a big shout out to Mia, who hooks you guys up with your monthly giveaways. If you would actually, though, like to give us financial help and help Tuck upgrade his equipment, head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/CMD Tower. And one of the perks that you get is announcement. We did get a new patron for the channel.
Oh,
Dustin Ivy.
Ooh, Ivy.
Maybe
right,
the
okay.
cousin of Poison Ivy.
Better be.
I don't know. We'll have to check Dustin. But thank you so much for supporting us. We appreciate it.
absolutely. Also, Dustin,
Yeah,
if
man,
you are
thanks
the
for-
cousin to Poison Ivy, could I get some details on that wonderful 90s, early thousands Batman film that your sweet
Uma
relative... Yeah, Uma
Yeah.
Thurman. Oh, wow, you're cousin with Uma Thurman. You're famous. There you go.
I was going to say, if you do know Poison Ivy, you can tell her that I am open for business and worked as an arborist for a
Now,
summer.
was that Batman Forever or Batman and Robin? I can't remember.
That's Batman and Robin.
Batman and
Oh,
Robin.
no, it is Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
That's right. Forever was Two-Face and Riddler.
Yes.
Got it. Wow, Batman and Robin really smashed him in there. They had what? Poison Ivy, Freeze,
Mr. Freeze,
Bane.
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 Any others?
My nightmare.
I don't think so.
Okay. Good enough.
That was the three of them, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Bane basically might as well have been non-existent. He didn't have a
Yeah.
speaking role the entire time.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
I will say in the
We're
third
getting way off topic
in
here.
the third Dark Knight, he also didn't have a speaking role because I don't know what he was doing.
You take that back. In the third Dark Knight, he was terrifying. So the funny, there's a still that you can find on about Batman and Robin that it's like Poison Ivy and Bane leaving in an airplane, and it's literally Bane in like a 1940s detective jacket and like a fedora. It's like,
that's right.
who could possibly tell who that was with that kind of cracked disguise?
Well, we do have 4 different pledge levels, guys. Obviously, all of them we give you shout outs on the show. But just for $1 a month, you get access into the Discord. And then all the way up, you do get a full set of playmat, sleeves, reminder tokens, coins, and any of the future giveaways that we do. So please go hook us up because we really do appreciate the financial help because it helps us keep this thing alive and keeps increasing the quality. If you can't afford a monthly subscription, but you would like to pick up some of the swag that you've seen on other content creator streams or maybe even on Twitter, head over to our store, cmdtower.com/merch. We do sell all of the stuff on there. Usually it's about a month after we give it to our patron community. But please go buy it. It was so nice. We have now gone through half of our playmats.
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
Only 50 more to go. But if you guys can't help out financially, just share the content you're watching on YouTube or listening on your appropriate platform because every little bit of interaction from the collective does help. And of course, we want to give a big shout out to Pink Royal every week for the music they provide at the beginning and the end. And T-Coats, our video editor. Make sure you like the YouTube page, leave a nice comments. Because he does put a lot of hard work into this every single week for you guys. And hey, if you have your own video projects, hit him up on Twitter.
Hey, on that note,
And
somebody
of
left a
course-
comment on our last Brews and Builds video asking for more Squee. Think about that.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
I do want to give T-Coats a shout out for his amazing work that he did on the pre-video image.
Oh my God.
My name is Ural.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That was awesome.
It is
So
beautiful.
keep that up, T-Coats. That was incredible.
You know what, Tuck? We should probably start giving you those images so you could use them on the website instead of the stock Brews and Builds image.
I got you one better. I actually have that queued up for the new one.
And it's done.
Ooh, there we go. And hey guys, make sure you stay tuned until the end so you can get details on how you can win a new giveaway from level 1. So Brews and Builds is our deck tech series. Since we conquered the path to 32, we have moved on to the endless themes that EDH can bring us. Each month will be a new theme. It will correlate how these decks are constructed, similar to how beer is brewed. So we broke it down into 4 different categories. The first one's rampant setting your board state. That's grains.
And grains are the foundation of every beer, and they include both base malts and specialty malts, usually in a 60-40 ratio. This helps with the color, the taste, and most importantly, the alcohol content of a beer. Decks always need ways to grow, stabilize, and ramp into bigger threats, and just like a grain profile, they're usually a mix of staples and specialty cards. And I know before you ask, Mead does not have any grains.
I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm just really digging this prickly pear mead.
Nice.
Also off topic. Gosh, you're getting me all over the place. You know there's a meadery here in Kansas City?
What?
Is that what they're called?
Where?
Yeah, it's out in Olathe. Yeah, meaderies.
Oh, that's
It's out in
upsetting.
Olathe.
I don't like that name.
Well, do they serve
'Cause
food?
I ended up buying some of the beer or some of their mead from Tipsy's, and the guy told me the whole story. It's like a husband and wife. They have a meadery, like a tap room, and they usually only do tap, and they begged them to give them some bottles and that they guaranteed would sell them. So yeah.
Wow.
Well, if they serve food, we should like go out there.
Oh,
I
100%.
figured your calendar was booked for the rest of the time you were here, but I'm in.
We can do that. A little CMD Tower rigmaroles.
Little meadery.
Yeah.
Little meadery. All right, we got to get back on this.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
The next is, how does your board interact with the rest of the board? We call that hops.
And hops give the beer its patented bitterness and herbal floral flavors. They grow in a variety of strands, and as we mentioned, they look a lot like a CBG or weed flower in the wild.
CBDG,
They also help. They also help distinguish subcategories like IPAs. Our hop choices help clear and interact with the board, so your deck can ultimately do it at once.
And then how does your deck actually close out or win the game? We call that yeast.
And yeast are living microorganisms that eat the sugar from the grain and poop out alcohol and CO2. It has the alcohol content and the carbonation. Without yeast, you'd be drinking flat sugar water. Without yeast cards, your deck would meet the goal of actually winning the game.
And then we have shenanigans. This could be pet cards, synergies, manoliths that are in the deck that are just kind of fun but don't make sense. We call that the spice package.
And not every beer has them, but spices and other additives help separate a normal stock beer from a specialty one. It could be the pepper that turns a stout into a jalapeno stout, or the addition of hops that turn IPA into a double IPA. Not every deck has something that makes it pop, but if it does, this is where we generally talk about it.
And then to seal off the episode, we have a bottle cap. We're going to be Big Tex and I's and a special guest recommendations to the deck that are going to be under $5, under $50, and a no budget recommendation. Only restriction is you can't talk about mana only lens or mana lifts. So without further ado, let's get brewing. We're continuing the theme. For some reason, March is Voltron month, and we're having one of the cast talk about their Voltron deck. Yes, it's Squee McGee with his gonna sneak past you. It's Akroma deck, Akroma Angel of Fury. So, Big Tuck, why don't you read what the card is, and then Squee, why don't you give us a little bit of background of why you ended up building this deck, how it came to fruition, and just kind of your overall strategy with it.
Can't do it. I also noticed that you put manolith in the spice there. I didn't like that, and I'm not going to forget that.
Oh, good. I made sure to point that out.
Good.
Also, we'll get to that. We'll get to that shortly. But Akroma Angel of Fury is a mono red Voltron commander. She costs 5 colorless and has 3 red pips on top of that. She's a legendary creature angel, 6/6. She's a rare. That's a plane shift coming in at about $1.86. She actually has 5 evergreen abilities, which is cool too. So number 1, Akroma Angel of Fury can't be countered. She has flying, trample, protection from white, protection from blue, and fire breathing, which is tap a red. She gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So it's kind of interesting. As we talked about Akroma's Memorial, she has 5 CMC. She has 5 colorless in her CMC and has 5 evergreen abilities. Kind of neat there.
That's the theme.
And then she has a morph cost of 3 colorless, triple red. So you may pay this card face down as a 2/2 creature for 3. Turn it face up at any time for its morph cost.
Well, this is a very interesting card. It took me a while to really kind of wrap my head around it. So this was a gracious gift from Mr. Combo himself. He thought it seemed like a Squee kind of card, and he was absolutely correct. And I guess to speak to the fruition of the whole thing, so I ripped apart my Akiri deck and turned it into this. So that's essentially where we're at. We've gone full circle from one of the last times I was on the cast to talk about my Akiri deck, which has died. Got rid of it. I don't even want to talk about it. It's
okay. It's okay.
And we turned
Wasn't that talked on a Brews and Builds at one point?
Oh, absolutely. It sure was.
100%.
Yeah, it sure was. It was also a Weatherlight report, and now it's just completely gone. So I stripped all of that, took all the good stuff out of that I could think of, and then kind of dove through all my box of gold and thought one night I had a couple of beers, had a bowl of non-CBD, and decided, what the hell? Let's look through the binder, see what we got. We'll build Acroma. So once I started building it, I actually got a little more excited as I kept going because it pieced together pretty well. So y'all know me, the way that I build my decks, I don't generally make a list and play test it and do all this garbage and then go out and order cards.
You also certainly do not check it twice. Let's make sure here.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because you do play banned cards.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to. I hope there's a banned card in here, but I think Tapped Out would have told me about it. But as we've said in past, Tapped Out maybe garbage, so maybe they didn't. But yeah, I sat down at the kitchen table, started building this thing, and as I started pulling out all the red cards that I had available and all the artifacts and different stuff that I could use, it actually seemed like it had some pretty decent legs. And one of my favorite things about this card, one of the reasons that I built this deck, was it has protection from blue. Suck it, all of EDH. Suck it, everybody. I hate blue. I hate blue so much. It's so damn good. It's so stupid. They have everything, and it can't be countered. Which I guess is kind of silly, because that has protection from blue. But, you know, you can't be countered. You can't do any blue bullshit to it. Once it's on the board, it's fucking on the board. Hence, gonna sneak past you there.
I do think it's ironic that while you hate blue, green is by far and away your favorite color, which nowadays is even more degenerate than blue, potentially.
I disagree with you there.
But that is not why we're here. I, as someone who has played against this deck, it does actually work. Yes. And I will also say my experience with it is that protection from blue is very, very good.
Everybody plays fucking blue in Commander because everybody's deck is tuned. And if you have a tuned deck, you have blue and you have green and you have one other color for fun.
Except white.
Correct.
Yeah, see,
the protection for whites, regardless. That doesn't even matter.
Yeah, the biggest reason I gave this to Squee, and I was like, here's a challenge. And it's because I feel like Akroma Angel of Fury, and now I've never played against this deck, I don't think.
Not to my knowledge.
Its big advantage is that morph effect.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to put it down as an innocuous 2/2. You don't know what it is, and then haha, gotcha. And then you flip it for 6, and then it's like, holy crap, what do we do now? From the command zone,
you know exactly what you're doing.
I just want to see Squee go, hey guys, I have this in the command zone. I'm gonna play it as a morph. Yeah. You don't know what it is now.
It could be anything. It's definitely it's definitely a will bender, guys. It's for sure a will bender on there.
What's that quote from Family Guy? It could be anything. It could be a ship.
It could be a boat.
Oh man.
A boat's a boat, but the mystery box is everything.
The best part is that is like almost my exact words every time I have played this so far. Every time I morph it into the board, I was like, well, gonna play a morph card, if anyone's interested. Wonder what it could be.
And I'm pretty sure morph doesn't even get around command tax, so you still have to pay command tax. Like, that could be a cool thing if it got around that, but it doesn't.
It sure doesn't.
I will say this, but like the good news is the flip up cost never changes, so you can always put it down for like 3, then 5, then 7, right? Which, if this gets destroyed. But I guess to that point, eventually it evens out to where like it's not even worth morphing anymore because you can just hard cast it.
Look, this deck has a sneaky kind of squeamish kind of vibe where you play the card, you put it down, and everybody's like, sure. You morphed it for 6. And by this time, I'm already so far behind in the game, it doesn't even matter. Because we're probably on turn 4 or 5 here on a good day when you get this out to morph it. And then you got to do it again. So it takes a little bit of time here. That being said, it keeps me under the radar, which is the place I like to be.
Yeah, and kind of looking at the deck, average CMC right now is at 3. That's very good.
Very good. I was very surprised.
Was shocked by that. The price, I'm surprisingly not shocked by. It's anywhere between $449 to $1,300. All right, look. And it's because of that effing box of gold.
Look, there's one card in here dealing with half of that cost. It's called Wheel of Fortune. We may talk about it. We may not, but...
Hey! You're stealing my thunder. I'm not talking about that card.
It's expensive.
I think the thing that really jumped out at me most is like you can tell that you put a lot of effort into the color pie because it is just dead on. So
I tell you, man,
perfect.
I do what I can here.
He didn't put a single waste in the deck. I'm shocked. Shocked. All right, guys, let's get into the deck. We'll start with the grain section. Squee, this being your deck, we want you to start it off. What is the first grain you want to talk about?
All right, so I wanted to talk, and I had trouble with this deck a little bit on what was grain and what was not grain, but I think this is grain. So I went with a little common. It's a 0/3. It's a wall.
Oh, yes, we did.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Little
Tuck Rabble Fort.
Baby, yeah, this card's beast. Like this.
2
thing.
colors and red for a 0/3.
And I'm going to interrupt Squee before you read the rest of the thing. Why do you have this, but not the best card from the worst set, Crashing Drawbridge?
I'm gone. We will get to that.
We will get to that, and a quick caveat to that as well. Again, I take everything that I have available. That's already in another deck. I didn't have another one, so this is what I had.
Damn it.
So
can't afford that 30-cent common.
Tuck, if you want to read it, I'll hit the flavor text.
No, I already read the cost and the outside border. The inside is all yours, sir.
Dang. All right. Well, Defender.
I have played this game before,
and you have lost many times.
All right. So creature wall.
Fast.
It's a common. Defender reach. Creatures you control have haste. Very relevant for your commander. And then the flavor text reads, and I don't know what the hell does Tuck Tuck sound like? It doesn't even quote Tuck Tuck.
Well, I don't. Yeah, it doesn't quote Tuck Tuck. So you could do this in a normal voice. You could do it in a funny voice. You could do it in Mel Gibson voice. Just pick one.
Oh my God, Mel Gibson is the easiest.
As with everything else, goblins believe fortifications benefit from as many spiky bits as possible.
That's Mel Gibson?
No, not at all. That's a goblin.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I was lost. Because Tuck was like, you almost got it. And I was like, wait, is he legitimate? Like, have I not watched a Mel Gibson movie in like a decade and a half?
Look, are we talking like Mel Gibson, like the Gringo Mel Gibson, Get the Gringo? Or are we talking
good reference.
We talking like Jesus Mel Gibson? Are we talking police cop Mel Gibson? Or are we talking What Women Want Mel Gibson? I don't know what you want here.
Just a couple whiffs. So, okay, here's my take on this. I think that this is very similar to Crashing Drawbridge, right? The difference being is that tap, right? So if you want, that's it. That's the only difference, right? And I think that
also it has reach.
True. So it is a blocker, and it's always a blocker, right? So I think that's kind of what it boils down to. Like, obviously, if you're not running red, you don't have the option to do Crashing Drawbridge. But I think that this one is kind of like, this card either says 3 mana and everything next turn has haste, which is effectively what Crashing Drawbridge does, or 3 mana, everything this turn has haste.
Yep.
Right? Like, which Crashing Drawbridge does not have.
Yeah, and as we talked about, this deck, because the commander is so expensive, takes a while to get it out. So you need it to be able to go the turn it comes out. So if you have a card like this on the board, and you also need something to kind of keep people from hitting you early on, just the little pings, this or that, or maybe somebody cheats out some stupid 7/7 flyer and you need to bin this, just to save your life, you can do that too. I think without being a technically modal card, this is a pretty modal card.
Yeah, no, I actually think it's pretty cool for the deck. I think it fits well because it's not going to get targeted removed by anyone.
Mm-hmm. No.
If anything, it'll succumb to a board wipe because someone else went too cray-cray. But I think the way at least I've seen games go, the whole, well, this could, be a blocker for the 1/1 Thopters or the Drakes, things like that. I actually don't know if that holds weight anymore, because I've seen more and more games where even I myself, I have a blocker. Let's call it, not Sad Robot, because you want him to die. But well, I don't know, just some random 3/3 beast. And someone will be like, okay, I'll swing at you with 2/2, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, guess I'll just take 2, because you obviously have some trickery.
Who knows, right? Yeah.
Who knows what you have? And so I feel like Squee, this is the perfect get it out early. Hopefully people won't swing at me.
Sure.
but unless it's a big enough damage and it doesn't have trample, because obviously trample just kind of makes it moot point, you're probably not going to block with it, because I would imagine you would rather take the single points of damage early game to have this for when you play Acroma. So like you said, you can immediately swing with her.
Yep.
But
yeah, it's a little deterrent.
I just need the game
and
evolving.
I will add one last thing to this. This is the cheapest fucking card in Magic the Gathering. On TCG Player right now, you can pick up a copy for, I shit you not, 1 cent. The next cheapest copy, 2 cents. The next cheapest copy.
That's 100%
3
markup.
cents. There is like 7 pages of these cards that are under 5 cents. It's amazing.
And that is 115% cheaper than Crashing Drawbridge, which is 15 cents.
All right. Well, my first grain is just a better Manolith, especially when it comes to monocolor decks.
Don't even know what you're talking about.
Heraldic Banner.
Ooh. Yeah.
Pretty.
Oh, yeah. That starts really good.
Good card.
So 3 colorless artifact. When it ETBs, choose a color. Creatures of the chosen color get +1/+0 and tap to add 1 mana of the chosen color. I would say in red and white, and honestly, every color but green, all those monocolor decks should probably run a Heraldic Banner. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting here thinking, like, yes, blue can kind of generate mana, but it's usually out of like tutoring artifacts out of the deck, which everyone can play artifacts, and High Tide, which that's just few and far between.
And they have a lot of like, these spells cost 1 less, right? Yeah, that's kind of how blue cheats it out. But this one, they don't have like as much raw like tap.
Exactly.
Point,
and
right?
Black, it's always like rituals or maybe ways to pay life to do things. Which, yes, life is a reforce, but you only have 40 of it. So Heraldic Banner is a card that I think has a lot of legs. Also from the shittiest set ever, Throne of VOLTRON.
Yep. Again, another slam dunk artifact that we were clearly right about.
But I think you're going to get more benefit out of the add 1 mana of the chosen color because you are in mono red. I play a mono red deck, and it's hard to ramp in that.
It is.
But that +1/+0 can add up, because that makes your commander a 3-turn clock.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Opposed to a 4-turn clock.
Yeah.
So that is big.
Yeah, that's a big thing to consider. I'm glad you brought that up, because the commander is big enough where if you just get that extra +1/+2, that really makes a difference when you're swinging through for these. And we may get into it later, but like things like double strike, stuff like that, those take that clock from 3 turns to 1 turn, 2 turns, that type of thing. Also, yeah, ramping in mono red is just a bitch.
Yep.
So you need to have some rocks. This one in mono red's not really going to help a ton. Actually, I take that back. This is going to help a ton. I lied.
The only thing I want to add on that is we've talked about this before. No one's ever going to target this to blow it up, so you're going to have this the entire game minus an artifact.
Yep.
I like it.
All right. Tuck, what is your last grain?
So I just read an article about this sort of effect, and this is one that I haven't seen as much before, but I'm interested in. So the way red draws cards is like exile off the top and then X, Y, and Z, right? And I think there's the new run of these let you do it till the next turn, right? Which I think kind of helps a lot. In that case, this enchantment is really gonna help when you can. So it's a 3-drop, but it does not deal with landfall.
Okay.
So Furious Rise for me is the one I want to talk about. So 2 colorless and a red for an enchantment. It's a uncommon out of Theros. You can get the foil for 6 cents.
Garbage set.
At the beginning of your end step, totally bad. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until you exile another card with Furious Rise. So effectively through the rest of your game. Oh yeah, I know. I'm not done with it.
Well, okay.
Believe me, I know. So I'm gonna think like a seer, right? Kolithis set out to mend the destiny of Theros. Her fury guiding every stitch. Whoa, what? Kolithis is a girl? Seriously?
How could you not tell with the card? It looks like a female.
It does?
Yes.
I need to go back to the optometrist.
Because isn't Klothys in Theros Beyond Death the Gruul God.
Yeah, I guess I never looked that closely.
Oh my god, y'all need to suck it so hard right now. Good lord.
So while that's happening, this is, again, there's a lot of these effects, and I kind of like that in red, how before you were kind of forced into like playing cards like Chandra, the original one, which is not good, right? It's just like it's a four drop version of this, and I do like the fact that if you run in this really weird like edge case where you exile a card you can't play, someone wipes all enchantments, and then you can just play that for the rest of the game because you're never going to exile another one with Furious Rise. So the only limitation here, and the reason why this one I also want to bring this up, is you don't run a ton of creatures in this deck. That being said, a lot of them do have that power stipulation, so I do think
actually they don't. So I just went through. He only has 4 creatures in the entire deck, and that includes Acroma that have that. So that was the thing I was going to point out in my assessment of it, as I feel like this is more of a spice for the deck.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Its effect is a grain, and it's getting you that card effect.
Right.
It's like, unless you have your other, not including Acroma, there's 3, and I think the cheapest CMC one is 5, and he needs Devotion to even count as a creature.
Oh, right.
It's probably going to be that super late game. Now, granted, that's usually when red struggles, is that mid to late game, and they need that card draw. So I guess it could kind of work, but I could see how this might be a feel bad if you play it on turn 3, and it's like, well, probably not drawing any cards off of this for 4 turns, 5 turns.
So I actually disagree a little bit there. So the idea around this, and why I put this and a couple other cards in this deck that are similar to this, is you need something to do while you're waiting to get enough mana to get Acroma out. So what you do,
that's fair.
You play these things early when you got 1, 2, 3 mana, get your enchantments, get your artifacts, get your equipments, get all your stuff out there. Then when you morph Acroma onto that, I'll generally have an artifact or 2 that could beef it up to be a 4/4 creature while it's morphed, and then flip it later. So you can still use this early game. Say you get Acroma out and you need a turn or 2 in between, but really what I was doing is trying to build value out of all of those dead turns that are going to come early in the game, because I knew that was going to happen. It's super expensive. There's going to be not much going on. You need to be able to do stuff. Enchantments people don't really get rid of. They don't board wipe them, so it's going to sit out there. Sure, it may feel like a dead turn for a few turns, but the whole deck is a dead turn until Acroma comes out. So like we could just kind of turn that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, Squee, what is your last grain?
All right, well, I'm talking about a little artifact. Has to do with maybe something about a closet. So for 5 colorless, we're talking Conjurer's Closet. Gotta have it. Got to.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You morph them out there and then you flip them over.
Yeah, but you're doing that on turn 5 or 6, which is basically when you're flipping Acroma.
I know y'all are thinking way too fast on this deck. Look, we're talking second time you get him out, third time you get him out. He's gonna get wiped. He's gonna get removed. Something's gonna happen.
It's her. God.
And to sum up that point, I am looking at Clothis and I zoomed in. She does have a nice pair of boobs, so I was wrong.
Oh God. Wow. Anyways, for those playing the home game, Conjurer's Closet. So 5 colors, artifact. It's a rare. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. Like the morph cost, if you can get this after your tax, you've been killed once, you've been killed twice, whatever the case may be. Once you get it out there, you just want to flip it over. Just want to have it available. I like
so it. I have a question. Is that all it says on the card? Is it just blank after that? I can't really tell with my glasses.
Oh, that's fair.
Let's see. Cordell the Cryptic. Do we have something for that?
We do not. I can say that right now. And I can guarantee Tuck does not need to make note of it because we probably never will again.
I doubt it. Let's see what we can do. Tomorrow wears yesterday's face.
Yeah.
Who's that?
It's Corval the Cryptic, obviously.
Just a stock deep voice guy.
Squee, I'm with Combo on this one.
So here's the thing, though. It's fine if you want it in the deck, but it's a spice. It's not a grain, because I looked at this card and I was like, well, I love Conjurer's Closet. What else does it do? Nothing. It does nothing with anything else in your deck.
But look
literally
at it.
Nothing.
You put this out on turn 4 or 5.
Literally nothing. Literally nothing.
Akroma
Literally
out for
nothing.
6, and then you can flip Akroma at the beginning of the end
Squee.
step that Akroma comes out.
Look, I get it, and I am guilty of this because I run power artifact in decks where literally its only purpose is to pair with Grim Monolith. In all of those decks, it's a spice.
Yeah, but this is
because
fucking
it
Voltron,
only
and this
works
is the
with one
commander.
card.
He's always there.
I'm with Combo on this one. And before we move...
I do not understand. Like, seriously, turn 5, you put Conjurer's Closet out. Turn 6, you
we
morph
hear
in
you.
Akroma. And then you don't have to
Well,
wait
technically,
another
you
turn to
could
flip it
morph at the
over and
end
spend
of-
8 mana or whatever.
It's technically Morpher at the end of turn 5. You have her for turn 6.
Yeah.
It does not matter, though. It only works with your commander, and that's it. And I get it, Voltron month is all about the commander, but you know, like your equipment, and we're not going to name off any, but you have other creatures in the deck.
Sure.
If you can't cast Acroma anymore, you just put the equipments on that stuff. Like, it still has some purpose. Stuff like when Tuck talked about last week with that card that's like $27, where the commander creatures you control get +2/+2 and
Bastion Protector, yeah.
yeah, something like that.
Sure.
Would normally be a spice if he didn't have 2 commanders. But it's like, okay, you got 2 options. If command tax gets too high on one, at least you got the other. And they both can do Voltron stuff. But you only have one, and you only got this card in the 99. It's kind of like some of your hop stuff, and we'll get to that later. It's hard to justify it being a core card in the deck. But I will say, to Squee's defense, Conjurer's Closet does show up on EDH Rex page for Acroma. So apparently there's other morons out there too.
Some other moron, and I'm not 100% convinced it wasn't one of you two told me to put this in there.
Oh, definitely not me.
I'm not.
Unless, okay,
I am
hold on,
not
hold on.
unconvinced that it was one of you two that said Conjurer's
Tuck.
Closet is a good fit for this deck.
Tuck, we could have been in the tank. We might have said that if we were in the tank.
I
Thinking
mean,
it was funny.
Tuck, when we played this and I
All right.
beat you with this deck, I remember after that, I think it was you. Because you were like, do you have a Conjurer's Closet in there? You have to flip that over into this thing.
no, that was...
Regardless, it'll be a mystery to be untold, but we're moving on. The last one that I have is the landfall version, and I do think this is a little bit better than Tux, just because you can do it without the commander out.
Agreed.
Valakut Exploration. I love this card. I pulled so many of them.
Dude, this card
and I
was
haven't
like,
actually put the...
this is like the stock rare from Zendikar. This is the one that did
It
everything.
really was. So it's 2 colorless red enchantment. It has landfalls. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. At the beginning of your end step, if there are cards exiled with Valakut, put them into the owner's graveyard. Then Valakut deals that much damage to each opponent. Squee's never going to be getting multiple lands out on his turn or a turn. Just because, I mean, hey, it's red.
Yeah,
Red doesn't
that's
do
how it
that.
works.
I was gonna say he doesn't have a mirrored landscape or anything either, so...
But if he at least gets 1 land a turn and hits land drops, I think this still has a lot of weight. Even though there is the risk that it could go to the graveyard, there are ways to shuffle your graveyard and artifacts back into your library. So even though that's traditionally more of a black effect, or green or white, red could do it through an artifact thing. So I do like this card. I think it's great early game. I think you play your lands, exile, and it does say play that card for as long as that card remains exiled. So sometimes your opponents put things out there that allow you to play multiple lands per turn.
Yep.
This allows you to kind of work off of that as well. So
Agreed.
big fan.
Yeah,
It's not a huge ramp card, just like the other way. Honestly, it's not going to get you a ton of value, but as we said, it's red. It's mono red. I'm trying to draw cards. I'm trying to see what's out there, just trying to move through this deck, get more stuff. And oftentimes, and I've used this once or twice in this deck, oftentimes I'll flip through stuff. It's kind of like scrying. Like you just have a free scry where you flip it over, don't like it, leave it in exile, get rid of it, and you know your next draw, you don't have to deal with some BS on the top of your deck that's not going to work. So I like being able to filter through that kind of stuff like that. And then the damage is just a nice little extra ping for fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't equate it to scrying, though, because scrying, you do have the choice to keep it on top. You just lose it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's like a quasi-scry. Like, you get to see what's there, and I don't feel bad if it's a bad card dumping it. And usually if you play a land that's early in your turn, so you have enough mana to play whatever card flips over, assuming it's not another 8, 9, 10 drop, that type of thing. So I do like it. It just kind of helps you move through the deck, which is very arduous in this particular deck.
And I do have 1 point before we move from the grain. Our leader of Manolith Commentary does not have a Manolith in the deck. Moving on.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up the grain section. Now we're on to the hop profile. And Tuck, I'm going to have you start this off. What's your first hop card?
All right, so there are a lot of cards in here that are suspect at best.
Yes,
we will get into that.
Yes, there are.
But I do like this one because as much as you hate blue, this kind of throws it back in the blue player's face. We talked a lot about how this card also can be a no ring card, if you will. We were talking about an instant from, I believe, Antiquities called Artifact Blast.
Yeah.
Is this yours too?
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's not. But I like this card a lot.
So this card is a 1 red for an interrupt, which is now an instant, and it reads counter any Soul Ring that is cast.
Yeah, and I have done that with this card in this deck. Have counter to Soul Ring. It felt great.
So it does say counter any artifact as it's being cast. I had to zoom in on this one. The first line of defense against Urza and Mishra, the artifact blast achieved widespread fame until an unlucky mage discovered it was useless on the devices the brother had already created. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah,
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, there's not all old cards are good, and I'd go as far as to say most old cards are bad. But this one is just cute enough to counter. And again, I know how much you hate blue, and I think this is kind of fun where it's like, I'm not going to let it enter the battlefield. I'm just going to stop it right here in its tracks.
Oh, yeah.
Gets around hexproof, gets around indestructible, all that sort of stuff. So again,
honestly, one of the best feelings of my life was, as you said, first turn, playing mono red. Somebody's like, oh, I'm going to play an island, Soul Ring. And I was like, you are? You aren't. Go ahead and get rid of that. Your ramp's dead. You kept that hand for that Soul Ring, and now you're feeling real sad.
We're just going to slow it down. So yeah, so Artifact Blast, an interesting but fun inclusion.
Yeah, you know what I actually think would be a cooler effect than a counter artifact? I doubt they would ever print it, because I'm sure there's some broken way you can make it disgusting. Instead of it being counter any artifact that is being cast, it should be an instant that says the next artifact that would enter the battlefield would instead go to the graveyard. Or go into exile. That would be cool. Because, let's be honest, a lot of artifacts nowadays don't even really get cast. They just get cheated.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of neat.
That's cool.
Wizards, listen to me. I could be
He's trying to make Artifact Blast worth, like, I don't know, $20 as Artifact Enter Blast or whatever the hell they want to call it.
Yeah. But no, it's fine. This is teetering on the cuteness level of your hop section.
Look.
The only reason it's not on the chopping block is artifacts can be played in any deck.
Yeah.
There will always be an artifact to counter, even if it's a nonsense artifact. Some of your other ones are a little bit more on notice, though.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right. My first one.
What do you got?
I had to double check to make sure you had the right lands for this card. Because I was like, there's no way he has 34. He does have 34 of them. And this card is just cute enough. I think I'm going to put it in my mono red deck. So we're talking Glacial Crevasses.
Karamas! It's a Karamas!
Oh, what a card. I love this card. I honestly put this, I had this, I got it out of the box of gold, and I believe Besh sent me 34 snow-covered mountains to put into this deck.
So I was about to say, because I know you didn't mass crack Modern Horizons like I did, like a drug addict. I know you didn't get it in your box of gold.
I know you didn't buy a single pack out of Kaldheim, guaranteed.
Yeah.
I did actually, so suck that.
Anyway, Glacial Crevasses, 2 colorless red. It's an enchantment from Ice Age.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's coming in at like $9.
Dude, great card.
All right. Has a lot of text. 0 cost. Sacrifice a snow-covered mountain. No creatures, plural creatures, deal damage in combat.
It's the
this
Squee
turn.
special, baby. The Squee special.
All right. Sealed Firk's daughter, leader of the Order of the White Shield. God, that's a mouthful. So I gotta feel like I gotta be pretentious.
Can you imagine having to sign a tab at the bar with that name?
I would just leave.
I'm sorry, I need an extra piece. Can you run the receipt out another 2 inches?
Or Scantron, if you remember that.
Can you guys call up CVS? I need you to practice their receipt procedures. I need that much paper. All right. We were chasing Limdul when the ridge in front of us suddenly crumbled. I can't believe it was mere coincidence.
Good.
Yeah, you self-righteous prick. All right, so, yeah. I love this thing.
Fuck
now,
you.
Granted,
Fuck you, Frick's daughter.
so here's the thing, though. This card in mono red, which is only good in mono red,
Absolutely.
really does teeter on playable. I like the card a lot. I'm glad you have it in here. Like I said, I'm going to put one in mine. The issue with mono red, though, is we are not ramping out lots of lands.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So you sacking your lands is going to be real dangerous because you've mentioned it. Acroma's very expensive. If it gets to the point to where it's like, oh man, frenemy Dan is swinging at me with like Paco, and it's a crap ton of damage, and it's gonna hurt. But if I sack this land, I'm now going to be 2 turns away from casting Acroma. You really get into that kind of like Sophie's Choice type deal. So, I think it's a cool card. I'd be very interested to see how it plays in real life without a commander like a Neheb that generates mana on his own. There's some, like a Kalia type thing where he's cheating stuff out for free.
Yep.
Basically, where you kind of circumvent the need for lands. I think this thing's a slam dunk. This deck doesn't really circumvent the need for lands unless you're really going to harp on your whole Panharmonicon morph rigmarole. So I love the card. I'm curious if you've ever played it, and if it has been that thing to where it's, if I sack a land to stop this 17 damage, I'm going to be 2 turns away from Acroma. And then you know what's going to happen? I'm going to have to do it next turn. And I'm never going to be able to cast Acroma because I'm always having to get rid of my land.
So it is a little... I've only gotten to play this card one time. And it was interesting because I didn't ever have to sacrifice lands.
What?
Nobody attacked me.
Oh, it was just
This was like a ghostly
Interesting,
prison. Essentially, everybody looked at it and they're like, well, I'm sure he'll just sack a land, so I'm going to swing at somebody else.
Idiots.
Wow.
The whole game. That's how it worked. It was wonderful. And then I also see this too. Really, I put this in here for one. It's just a squeeze spice to tea, but it also fits in the hops. I needed a fog effect. I love my fog effects. I gotta have them. So I put in an entire Snow Mountain base just to get one. And this card is so good late game to me because usually by that time I've got a lot of mana because there's a ton of mana in this deck. It's a bunch of snow-covered mountains. I'll usually have 7, 8, 9, 10 of them, some mana rocks, other stuff out there.
How many turns is this game going? 7, 8, 9, 10 lands. Jesus.
I try to play with people that aren't degenerates like you all.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, y'all tune decks. I'm still on this train. But yeah, late game, this is one, a save your ass card. You have this out. You can always sack a land to prevent damage. 2, it's a political card because you can sack a land to prevent damage from somebody else and make a friend. 3, as I talked about earlier, it's just a deterrent where people assume that, oh, I'm sure he has another way to get the mana, or I'm sure he has another way to bring Acroma out, or whatever rigmarole he's going to do, so he'll just sack a land, so I'm not even going to waste tapping my creatures out and trying to swing at him. Because worst case scenario, I sack a land. I like this a lot. I like it so much that I honestly swapped out all of my unlimited mountains, which I'm in love with, for snow covers and put them in there.
Well, there you go, people. Squee McGee.
Get out of here.
You got a lot of your cute cards in here. What's your first hop card?
This is just the cutest hop section, I tell you. Whew. All right, I'm talking about Smoke.
Oh, so am I. God,
Nice.
build up or anything.
Yeah, right? No warm up? What the hell?
God.
Sorry, I don't do this very often. I don't have the cues. I'm not ready. Anyways, so I'll read the outside. You read the inside. It's quite short. There's not a lot to this card, which is great. So Smoke is 2 red, and it's an enchantment.
Players cannot untap more than 1 creature during their untap phase.
Great goddamn card.
So good.
It's awesome for Voltron.
I mean, damn. Like, I couldn't ask for more out of a very cheap to play and not all that expensive to buy enchantment. It's not going to get removed unless somebody's really...
it's 100% going to get removed.
You are correct.
Yeah, come on.
It will get removed, but it's going to take people a while because they're going to have to find something to remove it with.
There you go. This could get real cute in a Boros deck with like Blind Obedience, stuff like that. Even if you like Reese Populate, for example, or you just talked about it in the Weatherlight report earlier this week. Scythe, Thopter Masteress, where they're creating a bunch of tokens at once. Hey, they all come in tapped, and by the way, you only get to untap one of them.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is there any artifacts that make creatures enter tapped? I can't think of any
artifacts. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think
I can think of artifacts.
Mono red wouldn't have anything like that.
I think it's mostly creatures from like white or.
Yeah, I don't think there's artifacts. The only ones
anyway.
There's artifacts that prevent untapping, but I don't think there's any that cause tap on enter.
Gotcha. Yeah, because that would be a pretty cute thing if you could figure out an artifact or a red card to put in here that also makes creatures enter tapped, even though that could be kind of a non-bow with your commander because you maybe want to swing in with haste. I think that would do more good than harm, because if with Smoke and insert made-up card that doesn't exist, you would basically stop, because the issue with Voltron, and we've talked about it all month, is the people that go wide and go fast are your worst enemy.
Absolutely.
And especially in a deck like Acroma, where her normal cost is 8, you're maybe getting her out on turn 6. Like, it's not like it's, I could get her out turn 3. That just doesn't happen in these colors. So Smoke isn't a great card.
This is not a cut because I didn't know this card existed. Why have we never heard of this card? Uphill Battle. 2 colorless and a red for an enchantment. Creatures played by your opponents enter the battlefield tapped. 24 cents.
What?
24 cents?
From Mercadian Masks.
You heard it first here on Brews and Builds, everybody. This card.
I can't believe it.
Why have we never heard of this card?
I've never heard of this card. I don't understand. That's so good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say here comes the price. Here comes the price for it.
What was it called again? Uphill Battle.
Uphill Battle.
Good Lord. What a card.
That is
insanely good.
It is so
foil's
old.
only
It's been around
$3?
forever.
Ooh, I'll get a foil for $3.
Wait,
Nice.
dude, that's going to be one of those nice old foils too.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you guys, but
that needs to go in this
I felt like that needed to be discussed.
It does. I'm glad you did. That's ridiculous. Well, Tuck, while you're here, read the flavor text. Give us to us.
Oh, yeah. Don't mind if I do. Chomano knew he had no choice but to ally with Gerard. If that's what it took to free his people, he would pay the price.
Okay, flavor
That's
text.
not my best work.
That's what you get for 15 cents.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like everybody just ordered like 5 copies of that.
No, I think I only need 2. One for probably Geared and one for Neheb for sure.
Oh, that's so good.
But Smoke's a great card. I really enjoy it, and now that we have the kind of combo with it, that much better.
Yep.
So yeah, if you get in mono red or have redundancy in white with like the blind obedience type of effects,
sure,
Smoke and those other cards with the Voltron deck, Slam dunk.
We're talking a new theme here. Red stacks, baby. Red stacks.
Oh God! What a nightmare!
Destroy lands. Everything comes in.
Red can do that quite well, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, Tuck, what is your last hops?
So in a weird way, I didn't intend this. This actually is another mono red stacks that punishes for people for, if I may, which is ironic. It's coming from Squee. Sitting tight.
Look at that.
It's also the name of a very popular RTS line of games from the 1990s. We were talking about Total War.
We are, baby.
Hey-o! I figured you'd be able to pick up with that deep cut on the RTS, but here we are. So Total War is a 3 colorless and a red enchantment. I'll go ahead and read it because I have the new version, which makes a lot more sense. Whenever a player attacks with one or more creatures, destroy all untapped, non-wall creatures that player controls that didn't attack, except for creatures the player hasn't controlled continuously since the beginning of the turn. Good lord. But yeah, so again,
that makes any more sense than what the old text reads.
I really don't think it does, but this again falls into the same line as like smoke and these other effects where you know what this deck is trying to do, and we're talking about it. Yep. You're either swinging in with Acroma, or you're swinging in with one of the other 7 creatures that have a gazillion toughness or whatever. You're not trying to go wide. You're not trying to do some sort of convoluted, mana dork strategy. So I think like a lot of people would shy away from this because it's a global enchantment, even though it's not. It affects you as well. I just think the fact that this is going to punish people for sitting back. This is going to punish them for trying to block your stuff.
Yep.
And do it quite efficiently as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to go for kind of like you said, like global effects that, yes, they affect me, but no, they don't really affect me,
Right, yeah.
Like the couple of creatures that I may or may not draw or may not have on the board as just ancillary stuff to Acroma generally don't matter if Akroma's out, so I play Total War, and this is going to do so much more havoc to everybody else on the board than it is to me. If nothing else, this is a guaranteed, just like smoke, this is a guaranteed somebody's going to waste their enchantment removal on this.
Oh, full stop.
Well, and did we even mention how this is kind of a combo with smoke? It's either attack with everything and you don't get to untap with it, or they get destroyed.
Right.
Oh man, this is mono red stacks, you liar. You scumbag.
Hey, look, I was trying. I just didn't know if it was possible, all right? I work within the confines of having 20,000 cards, okay?
Well, we're now moving away from this scumbag profile onto the yeast package.
Hi.
And I'll start this one off with the very first one in the yeast section, because I love this because it is pure chaos.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It causes so much destruction. We're talking about Avatar of Slaughter.
Slaughter.
And it's just as expensive as your commander. 6 colorless red. It's an 8/8. All creatures have double strike and attack each turn if able.
Oh, man, what a card.
All right.
But I was going to say, it doesn't stop there, does it?
For Bassandra.
I don't think so.
Definitely not. I think she's mentioned on 3 cards.
Okay. Oh, man. What do we want Bassandra to sound like? For some reason, I kind of want to do like Cassandra from Wayne's World, but...
Oh, yeah.
Dude, total Valley Girl it. Do it.
Yeah, Valley Girl. Yeah, we don't have Valley Girl bit yet.
All right. Diplomacy has solved nothing. Only Bloodspell can end this now. Call forth the Warbringer.
Like,
for some reason, I wasn't channeling my inner Valley Girl. I was channeling my inner Muffin Man.
Well, so
that weird Muffin video where he's like Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars.
You also had a really tough task because Valley Girls say like and ass and butt and all this stuff, and you can't add that into the flavor text. I suppose you could, but
that's true. That's true. So yeah, I like this card a lot because obviously it helps you progress what you want to do.
Yeah,
you're trying to kill people as quick as you can. I get it. But it also, at the same time, makes all your opponents want to kill all of your other opponents because they know if they kill you, they'll lose double strike and haste. or no, not double strike and haste, but they'll lose the double strike. And even though it's like, yeah, we have to attack, it's only... no, because I guess even the blockers have double strike.
Yeah.
This is a confusing card.
All creatures have double strike.
Mr. Combo, we've talked a lot about how if a card
This is a card you
costs...
play where the board stops for a minute and everybody has to chat.
So I think this does prove our prophecy, right? Because we've talked a lot about how if a card costs 7, 8, etc., it should end the game, right? And I think in reality, this card does, but just not in like the narrow way that a normal Exsanguinate or Rise from the Dark Realms or whatever would, right? Like this is going to force people to attack. It's going to force them to make decisions, and it's going to force the game to progress if you are playing against creature decks, right?
And ideally, this comes out on my turn, so I get the first swing for fun.
Right.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I thought it was super cool. Granted, I guess I didn't think it all the way through because usually these red cards, it's attacking creatures have double strike.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, okay, so like they're gonna want to swing, but no, they all have double strike. So it could be one of those things where everyone just kind of sits tight. And it's like, I don't know if I want to do anything.
I was like, yeah, this
And
either
then,
locks the board down where nobody does anything, or it's a mass board wipe where everybody kills each other's creatures.
But they don't have a choice. It is a mass board wipe because they have to attack.
Oh, that's
It's
true.
not like they can just sit there.
But it's not a mass board wipe because then it's the blockers that have to choose.
Yeah.
Do I want to lose my stuff, or am I willing to take the
25 damage?
20 damage. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's
right.
absolute chaos. It's a lot of fun. I think it fits really well just because you time this card right. Obviously, you play it when you know that you can probably swing out and kill one person. Maybe you play this right after a board wipe and you bring your commander back out. You have that. Or maybe you play it because you see two other people going at each other's throats and you're like, all right, I'll give you a little more fuel.
Yeah.
We'll see what
I'll give
happens.
you a little push. I'll give you a little kiss. Yeah.
All right, Squee. What's your first yeasty card?
All right, so I am talking about a beautiful little artifact equipment. Costs 1.
Uh-oh.
It's a mythic.
Yeah, we are. Well,
That is a lot. Keep going with the hints.
All right, it has a glorious, you could eat off of this, per se. I'm talking about Commander's
I
Brow.
think. Oh yes. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Okay, that's my
Because it's a plate. Yeah.
That's a slam dunk.
It's, that's okay. That is a great. That is a great. Okay, that's a great 8-bit. 5 comedy points, Squee. Well done. This is also my first pick. Damn it.
And that's my last pick.
All right.
Is it? Oh, nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
3 for, okay. All right. Tuck,
We haven't seen it yet.
Tuck, you read the top. I'll read the middle. Combo, you read the flavor.
God damn it.
You are so good at it, though. It's a gift.
All right, never mind.
We're
Combo,
giving you a gift.
read the middle. I'll read the flavor.
No. F you. I'll read the flavor
Okay,
text. You guys have just put. You know what? How they say never put Mr. Combo in the corner? You just did.
And you're gonna reap, and you, sir, are gonna reap.
You're going to serve
the
it up to me
woes.
on a platter. You son of a bitch.
All right, Commander's Plate is a 1-drop artifact equipment. It's a mythic rare coming in for a cool $13.
Equipped creature gets +3/+3, has protection from each color that's not in your commander's color identity. Equip commander
Jesus.
3, equip 5 for anything else. Good gravy.
Not all beautiful things are fragile.
Nice, yeah, good.
But my voice definitely was. As you guys can tell, I was going through puberty.
So I'm gonna say,
Only thing I'm going to say about this is it gives it protection from all the great removal spells.
Yeah.
So it's a winner.
yeah, I was gonna say, all I want to say about this is this card is absolutely bonkers, and I wish I cracked one in either of my boxes, but here we are.
Yeah, I did crack this in some of my Commander Legends packs, and the other caveat to not only does it get you away from all these removal spells, it more or less makes your commander unblockable.
Yeah.
Because it has protection
Other than the
everything but red.
other than artifact and red.
Right.
Artifacts and red.
So
Yep, colorless and red.
it gives you like a 80%, 75% kind of unblockable swing in, and the +3/+3 when you have a commander doing commander damage with other effects, double strike, blah blah blah. Gross.
Yeah, it's quite good.
You play Commander's Plate onto Acroma with this. It gets +3/+3. Then you do the fire breathing effect. You have double strike. As long as you do fire breathing, what? Twice? Dead. One time.
Yeah.
That's a swing out.
Yeah, it's
like,
incredible.
this card's great. And the protection is so big. Like, and for one mana.
Yeah, it's absurd.
So you can always get this out early. And this is actually a card I would recommend as I've played this deck. And for anybody playing these types of Voltron decks, don't play this card early. Don't put this on the board before your commander's out. Just you hold on to this thing for as long as you can.
Yep.
And you play it as soon as you can equip it onto your commander, and then you never look back. But
stay here as long as you can.
oh yes. Was that Billy Madison? Nice read.
Yes, sir.
Decent.
Thank you.
Decent. Yeah, this card's bonkers. I was so happy I cracked one of these out of a pack. I never would have probably bought this, but damn it if it wasn't great to have.
For sure. We said everything that needs to be said about it. Now, the only thing you would have to do
here it
is
comes.
figure out a way to give Acroma protection from colorless and then from red, and you'd be unbeatable. something, dark side something. All right, so, Tuck, what's your last yeasty card?
So this is kind of like one of the backup commanders along with Avatar Slaughter. And again, it does pretty much everything you want it to do. Flies. By the time you cast this, you're going to have piles of equipment to slap on it. Pretty meat and potatoes in this deck, but I think it's a good inclusion. Terror of Mount Velus. So 5 colorless, double red. It's a rare dragon, about $2.78, which is kind of nuts. But it's 5/5 flying, double strike. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain double strike until end of turn. The Forge of Perforos burns in the heart of Mount Velus, attracting dragons with its blistering heat. There's not a whole lot to be talked about this card. You have to have backup. We've talked about this in previous Voltron decks, and effectively other Voltrons, which are Commander Matters, our theme from last month. You have to have something to do just in case your commander becomes prohibitively expensive, right? And if you look at it, this costs 1 less to cast when your commander's casting directly from the command zone. Yep. So this pulls double duty of 1, having something that has double strike baked into it and flying, which we've talked about, is so critical. You're going to be getting in damage. You're going to be chipping away. If somebody lets Acroma go because you have a commander's plate on it, this is just another redundant effect for that double strike, which I think is really something that this deck focuses in on correctly. Having a critical mass of these sort of effects that you can do the turn after, you use your Pyroblast to counter a board wipe or whatever. Next turn, plop this down. You can knock out one person with commander damage and take a huge chunk out of another person with all of the leftover scraps.
Yeah, I like this. I honestly struggled back and forth with this card so much on whether I wanted to keep it in or cut it, because it is prohibitively expensive. But at the same rate, it's really, really good. Again, you time this right. You play it when you have a Chroma out. You're ready to swing. Do some big damage to somebody. Plop this on the board when they're not expecting it. Go ahead to move to attack. Deal 21, 22, whatever you need to deal to get them out of the way, and do that. And then to boot, you got a big 7/7 hanging out on the board that you can use your equipments, move them around, do other stuff. I do think it needs to stay in here because it is super powerful.
Yeah, I think the thing for me, it is overcosted. I think you could probably find other dragons for 7 that would do more for you.
I believe that's Dargon's
than Terror does. I thought I escaped Wizard Harry's, and now Dargons are back. You guys are gonna force me into early retirement.
Just a defeated sigh. It's so good.
But the fact that Terror it gives itself double strike, and when it enters can give Acroma double strike. That's the only reason it's a fringe for me. Is because of the fact that it does the same thing It accomplishes what it wants to accomplish if it's on the battlefield or if it enters the battlefield. It's either it has double strike or something else has double strike. Something's hitting twice. And so that's the only reason I'm okay with it, because you can't even do your dumb little Conjurer's Closet like trick, because that's end of turn and this is until end of turn.
Sure.
So it doesn't even fill that
You
gap.
could tuck Rebel Fort this guy in, so he has haste and Akroma has haste and swing with both for fun.
Well, there you go.
There you go. So your good old 15 mana combo right there. So, sorry, 18 mana combo. I forgot you have to pay for the Rabble Fort too. But no, I think it's cute, but I do think if you play this deck enough and it's like, man, by the time I get this thing, I need something more effective than a hitting for 10 damage.
Yeah.
I want to hit for 16 or something like that.
Right.
I think you'll be able to find other dragons that outclass this guy just by a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Squee, what is your last Yeast card? And if you say a Dargon or a Wizard Harry, I'm quitting this cast.
It is not a Dargon. It is not a Wizard Harry. It is another
Damn it.
one drop.
Thank God.
It's a 1-drop artifact equipment. We'll do it again.
Oh, I already know what you're going to do.
Masterwork of Ingenuity. Yeah. So Masterwork of Ingenuity is a fantastic card.
Yeah.
In any Voltron deck where you ideally are going to be running big, bad equipment, for 1 mana, you can get another big, bad equipment.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. What a card. So, Masterwork of Ingenuity, for those playing the home game, reads, artifact equipment rare. You may have Masterwork of Ingenuity enter the battlefield as a copy of any equipment on the battlefield. Doesn't even have to be your own. Could be somebody else's. In the rare case that somebody else has a better equipment than you do, you're playing, like in this deck, I have quite a few equipment. A lot of them are really strong and really powerful. You can have 2 of those on there. That'll really beef your commander up. And then it does have flavor text from Wahara, Keeper of the Crucible.
Well known in Magic lore.
I don't know who that is.
Neither do I.
All right. Well, Wahara sounds like a surf stoner, so...
Like the turtles from Finding Nemo.
The Crucible yields what has forged in your mind. You need only reach in and draw a Masterworth for it.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. It's okay.
Why not?
I felt as confused as the stoner that was reading that, which could have been me. Anyways, yeah, this card's a banger.
Yeah,
I love
it's really
it. I
good.
got this out of my Double Masters run, and it was a slam dunk right in here. You can copy any of the swords, the more expensive ones that I have in here. You can copy your Commander's Plate, which would be ideal. Can't imagine giving, +6/+6. That sounds great. So... I like this, and it's dirt cheap to get out there. At 1 mana, it's not going to tax you. And also at 1 mana, you can use this to circumvent some more expensive equipments that say cost 4 or 5 to get onto the board, and use their cheaper equip cost to put this out and play them for much cheaper than they normally would be.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed across the board, man. Really good card. Does it need? It doesn't need a reprint. So $2.81. You're going to get your money's worth if you're running a deck like this.
It's not expensive either. That's interesting. I thought it'd be a little more expensive that just because it's so useful.
Yeah, I think the issue there, Squee, is that it is limited to equipment.
Yeah, that is
not
fair.
Any artifact. And yes, because I think the thing that as commander players, we do get very cocky with we control the market, which we kind of do. But, we've talked about cards in the past that, I'm like, Tuck, why is this so expensive? He's like, oh, it's used in some, fringe modern deck
right, yeah.
that, beats house. And, you have, and it's like, oh, well, you have to have 4 of in that. And, that can kind of drive up the price. And Commander, think about it. What are the most common equipments you see? Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots. Maybe Whisper Soul Cloak.
Yeah.
You're not seeing Sword of Feast and Famine all the time, or Sword of Vengeance, or Sword of Light and Shadow. I think in a format where if we saw more of those powerful
all of which are in the deck,
this
by the way,
probably
just
would
for
be
fun.
more expensive. Oh, yeah, I know. That's why I read them. But the fact that those aren't commonly played commander cards is what's probably keeping this at the right price, a little under $2.
Yeah.
Just because this could be a lot like your Pyroblast, where maybe you get to copy your own thing, but there's no one else that's even worth mentioning to copy.
Sure.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up the East package. Now we're going to over to the spicy meatball. And the man, the myth, the legend, it's his deck. What's your first spice?
Man. All right, so
I know, so many options.
I'm talking about something.
There's really only one option, and there's either one or 4.
There's 5 total. I'm talking about something that, maybe metal attracts other metal and they
What?
stick together.
Yeah, we are.
You cowards! You cowards, both of you.
2, 1.
Magnetic Mountain, baby.
Unreal.
Red enchantment.
Yeah, let's talk about all that blue hate. So, as goes with Pyroblast, Hydroblast, all of this. Oh, wait, no, Pyroblast. What's the other one that I have in there? Red Elemental Blast.
Red Elemental Blast, yeah.
Red Elemental Blast. Anything that hates on blue is in this deck, if at all possible. Thank the Box of Gold for that, because for some reason the Box of Gold decided that old cards hate blue. And they weren't wrong, because blue's the best. So, enchantment, it reads, blue creatures do not untap during their controller's untap phase. During his or her upkeep, a player may pay an additional 4 to untap a blue creature he or she controls. As we talked about.
You just hate
I love it.
blue.
As I've started to find, every goddamn commander deck wants to run blue, and I hate it. Stop it, everybody. Stop it. I know it's attractive.
Stop it.
I know it looks cool.
it.
You like having the counter
help.
spells. It feels really good to put on your brand new blue suit with a counter spell and all your draw cards and all your removal and all your flying and all this bullshit. Well, anyways, I'm coming in with this deck to hate on all of that. The artwork is also insane.
Yeah, it's
I have no idea
cool.
what's going on here. There's like swords and chains and...
What do you mean you don't know what's going on here? The card is called Magnetic Mountain, and there's a bunch of metal things flying towards a mountain.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out what the rest of the metal things are up at the top, though. Like,
There's a sword, there's a vase, there's a couple fences. Those are nails.
Like railroad tie nails?
Yeah, they're nails.
Okay. Anyways, great card.
All the artwork we talk about on this podcast is the one.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I like
Squee,
this card.
just you never change.
This
Please
is the
don't.
Couldn't
definition
even
of
if I tried.
spice. The only reason I am not cutting it from the deck, though, is because this legitimately can do something in a game, unlike your other nonsense in your hop section, because of the fact that we do see more token blue decks in our play group. This will wreck your Psymaster Thopterus decks. It'll wreck your Brea decks. It's going to wreck your...
Ninja decks. That's the first thing that came to mind. Rogues.
What's the one I'm trying to think of? Drakes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Toleron. Yeah, sure.
Talron. So it's going to wreck so many, blue mirrors that come from not just Brea, but there's another one that makes blue mirrors. I can't think of it.
Brutaclad, dude. Aren't his blue?
Brutaclad. There we go. So it does so much on so many levels because you can't counter tokens and you don't really see big creature blue decks. So yeah, I think for 3 mana, this is worth keeping in because it's going to help you stave off those pesky blue token decks, which Voltron really needs.
Hey, I gotta say, I resent your statement about the hop section because cards like, I don't know if you've ever read Elemental Blasted somebody's commander, but it feels real good. Feels really.
I don't
really
think that's what he's talking about when he's mentioning some of the surplus stuff in there.
Oh my god. Anyways, all right, Tuck, what do you got?
You had the gall to put a goblin in here that is pretty much defying the entirety of your podcasting career and everything that goes
getting cut
and everything that goes into it. And you can't even talk about it? You can't even have the goddamn dignity to bring up Brash Taunter?
Dude, it's not
Oh my gosh, you
appropriate
dick.
to talk about a card I've already talked about.
We are talking our pal Brash Taunter. Brash Taunter, 4 colorless and a red. Creature Goblin, 1/1. No, not the other card, which is too easy. And I could have sworn one of you guys would have taken that bait, but here we are. It's a rare from M21. It's indestructible. Whenever it is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. 2 colorless and a red. Tap. Brash Taunter fights another target creature. And as always, we already know it. You hit like a kobold. Yeah, so again, it's a great spice card, and into which, when you have Akroma as humongous, right? You fire breathe her for 3 mana. It can just blast someone directly in the face, push damage over, makes it easier for your other auxiliary creatures like your avatars of slaughters and battle scrolls of the world to be able to get that damage in faster. We've talked a lot about how much Mr. Combo hates this card. And it's like, and we've talked a lot about how it's got all the utility. So I think this is a card that definitely is a spice, but is one that that fits the theme of the deck a lot better than most people would think.
I'm going to bring in a new category. This is a spicy staple in red.
No. Absolutely
this
not.
This has to go in every red
How's
deck.
that? No.
I can't go there. It's a spicy.
I'm going.
It's a spicy standard. Maybe.
I'm pushing the envelope.
No.
Maybe
every red deck.
If you want to say spicy standard for mono red Voltron, sure, that's fine.
That's
because
fine.
you could equip it to it. It is better than Stuffy Doll because Stuffy Doll has Defender, I believe.
Well, the real problem with Stuffy Doll is you have to choose the opponent that when it comes into battlefield.
Sure. But doesn't Stuffy Doll also have Defender?
No, that's that's another doll that you flip a coin.
Look, if you don't have a big creature to fight yourself,
hold on.
no problem. You fight somebody else's big creature. Somebody's going to have something. Worst case scenario,
you can slice this up.
You have an
you can slice it up any way you want
all day long.
It does not matter.
Oh.
It does not matter.
How many times?
Oh my gosh.
Whatever kind of deck you want to go up against, somebody's got a 5/5, a 7/7. You don't want to deal 5 to 7 to people's face all day long.
I want to get the hell out of the spice section and move on to the bottle capping.
I do have one final note before we take our bathroom break, regularly scheduled. Stuffy Doll is up to like $8. What?
All right, guys, that wraps up the spice package. Now we're over to the bottle capping, and as a reminder, there's going to be Big Tuck, Squee, McGee's, and I's cuts and adds to the deck. They're going to be under $5, under $50, and a no-budget recommendation. We just can't talk about mana-only lands. All right, so for the under $5, we're going to start off with Big Tuck. What are you going to cut, and what are you going to add for under $5 hairs?
So, I am not going to lie. All of mine are almost to a T, just quality of life improvements. I think that, to your deck's credit, you do have the win con down very well, as I mentioned earlier, so we're going to make it a little easier for you to interact. So first off, Shatter, adios. The card is no longer good. It is. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm also cutting Shatter. Not for.
Oh, you are? Okay.
But I am cutting it.
I think Shatter is a cool card, but it is not good anymore. So Shatter is a colorless and a red for an instant. Shatter destroys target artifact. Yeah, okay. Was really good in 1993.
It's not even meat and potatoes. Yeah. It's just potatoes.
No. So, for example, this has now just been outclassed by a card, which I'm starting to see more play, as it should, by Force. Byforce is very straightforward. X colorless and a red. It's a sorcery. Destroy X target artifacts. It's an uncommon for 53 cents. And I need to look up our bit on Chandra, who I don't think we have a voice yet, so we might want to note that down. Descent. Your gods can't even begin to comprehend the descent that's about to happen here. From Chandra and Nalar. So, okay. Literally, you take away the instance, you pay one in a color, one in a red. This is the exact same thing as Shatter.
Yeah.
And now this can do a ton of stuff. And as you made mention, there are a lot of dead turns in this deck where you may cast an artifact and have some leftover mana, or you're kind of doing something else. This will give you something to slow people down. This might as well also say pay 3 in a red, destroy 3 target soul rings.
Yeah, 3 soul rings, 3 mana tappers, whatever the hell. Mana liths maybe, because they're really good.
Tuck, you think you're real cute with how you do this every time. And look, I'm not arguing with your pick. What I'm arguing with is your logic with your pick. Because you try to do this on my decks as well, in our guest decks, and now on Squee's deck, where you're like, it's just a better version of Shatter.
It is!
It's sorcery speed.
That does not matter when you compare blowing up multiple artifacts versus one.
Oh, I will say to Mr. Combo's point, it does matter, because say you have an artifact blast in your hand, or a Shatter, or anything else.
Artifact blast is different because it's 1 mana.
Sure, but say somebody's about to combo off. This card doesn't help you.
But you're telling me you're going to hold up 2 mana and a Shatter in your hand in case somebody comes off on an artifact. When you could have used this you could slow like a counterspell or a million other cards that are in your hop section that I'm looking at right now.
For only blue, the hops is all blue.
Well, then that's your own damn problem. This is
about my problem on this whole episode.
Facts. Cut Shatter, bring in by force, or Vandal Blast or whatever. But the sorcery speed will not matter to slow other decks down. I will be taking I won't be taking no further questions.
Oh my god. All right. Well, we're moving on then. For my under $5, it's.
I mean, you have your pick because I know you have no mercy when it comes to cutting these cards.
Oh, I have no mercy. I'm cutting Hellrider. It's a stupid card for this deck.
It's not really good.
So, 2 colorless red, creature devil. It's a 3/3. Haste. Whenever a creature you control attacks, Hellrider deals 1 damage to a player or planeswalker. It's attacking. I don't know if you realize this, Squee. You're in a Voltron deck, usually only attacking with 1 creature.
I don't know if you realized I had a finite amount of red cards.
Mr. Combo,
Manolith would have been better for this.
I agree with that. Mr. Combo, I don't know if you realized, but there was more text on that card. Okay.
I understand.
All right.
Do we have a voice for Rim Correlate, who probably likes Rim Jays?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's between you and this voice is between you and God.
Okay, you ready? Behind every devil's
no
lurks a demon shame.
Yikes. No thanks.
God, that devil just got himself a Rimmy.
I almost tortured you again by saying, don't you mean Deville? But we have enough of those. We have enough of those bricks. We don't need to add that.
Do not make me quit this. All right. So the card I'm going to put in there is fairly boring. It's teetering on the $5. Teetering.
Okay.
I think you can get it slightly under $5 right now. Underworld Breach.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, colorless red enchantment. Each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost, plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard at the beginning of your instep sacrifice Underworld Breach. So, I think this does a lot of different things for a Voltron deck. 1, Acroma gets prohibitively expensive.
For sure.
You could put her to the graveyard, exile 3, and now you
I would argue Acroma doesn't
costs.
get prohibitively expensive. Acroma is prohibitively expensive.
Well, Underworld Breaches can't help you with how expensive she is. She's an expensive lady. So
high class, if you will.
First one. Second one is the problem with Voltron decks. Now, granted, Acroma does have a pretty big chest and a pretty big butt, so the equipments help get her there quicker, but it's not necessary. But a lot of times people will pick off your Sword of Feast and Famine, they'll pick off your Lightning Greaves, things like that. They'll pick off your things that give double strike, because it's like, well, as long as I have a blocker and Acroma can't gain trample through any other means, I'm good. I can just block for days and Acroma can't do crap. So Underworld Breach will allow you to recycle a lot of those pieces, but then also it does state non-land cards. So you still have access to your instants, your sorceries. If you need a board wipe, it's like, hey, I'm going to play Underworld Breach for 2, Exile 3, Blasphemous Act for 1.
Yeah.
I just paid 3 mana for a board wipe. Like, sometimes desperate measures, you kind of have to do it. So I think this card could do a lot for your deck.
Okay, so I'm on the fence about it. One, yes, Hellrider's got to go. 2, my only concern with this card, I like everything about it except for you have to get rid of 3 other cards in your graveyard, which I'm concerned.
You don't have any other graveyard recursion. Why do you care?
No, I don't think I'm going to have 3 cards in my graveyard to dump that many times.
What?
What is going to be
How
in
are
there?
You not? Stuff that gets destroyed.
There's only 1 creature, like...
Well, you also have your Biforces of the world, your Pyroblast, that sort of thing. So to keep yourself,
you have tons.
To keep yourself alive, you're gonna have to. So pretty much, like, I see it as like turns 1 through Acroma, whatever that range is. These are just I have these finite amount of resources. I'm just trying to like struggle and strive through it and not just get completely blown out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't realize it, Squee. You have 16 non-permanent cards in the deck. And a lot of them are interaction stuff that you're going to be using to keep yourself alive through that turn. I mean, hell, you have Wheel of Fortune in the deck. You could
Might
play
be cutting that.
Wheel of Fortune, and then that's silly.
Record scratch.
Oh, I think he's just cutting it because he wants to sell it. That's really what it is. But no. So yeah, you have 16 plus. The fact that you may think that your stuff's going to stick around is asinine. People are going to get rid of your stuff because Voltron decks don't work if you don't have the toys. It's like, what is Batman without all of his gadgets?
Yeah.
He's just a rich dude.
Yeah, he's a rich guy. He's a rich guy who knows karate.
Yeah, and look, that's what Akroma is. Akroma is a rich gal who knows how to beat face, and eventually she could kill you, just like Bruce Wayne can eventually kill you. But if you load her up with a bunch of gadgets and tools, she'll kill you in one hit. And that's exactly what Batman does. So you're gonna lose your stuff. And especially as you play more Commander with us, because I know you're not the biggest virtual player, people are going to catch on to what your deck does. And they're going to be like, Squee played Mana Vault, kill that. That gets him closer to Acroma, get that out of there. You're going to lose a lot of things. And so Underworld Breaches, I always say breaches, you're going to have stuff to exile, and that's not going to be a concern.
I think we've talked about Underworld Breach so much, I think it just gets an honorary red standard, right? Maybe it's like some
mono red standard. Yes,
I would vote.
I think once you get into the other colors, it's a little hairier.
I would vote mono red staple, almost, because you think about it.
You're putting it up there with Blood Moon,
maybe,
and Bresh Chonner.
Just something and on. All right.
Oh wow.
All right, moving on. Squee McGee. What are you going to cut from your deck, and what are you going to add?
All right, I lied. I'm not cutting Wheel of Fortune because I can't take half the value out of the deck just like that. I am cutting a budget Wheel of Fortune and Burning Inquiry.
Yeah, we are.
So, yeah, 1 red, it's a sorcery, it's a common. Each player draws 3 cards and then discards 3 cards at random. While that is very squeeish and a lot of fun, I do like the discards at random thing.
You do not need it in this deck.
Correct. Absolutely correct. It does have flavor text. Jarian burned at the midnight oil. Burned through scroll after scroll and then burned down his laboratory.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Actually, the artwork is a picture of him on fire.
A guy on fire.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
That is kind of terrifying. So I'm cutting this for Hellkite Courser. So it's coming in like $2 and change.
Yep.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, 4 colorless, 2 red. It's a creature dragon, I believe a mythic.
Sure. Wait, it's a creature. I'm sorry. Hold on. I think it's a creature. What?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I misspoke completely. I don't even know. Like,
I was gonna say. I think you cut out.
Sorry, it was a creature Dargon.
That makes sense. Okay.
It's actually a Dargon. So
and Mr. Combo has left the chat.
And yeah, he turned his camera off. He's out of here. He's done.
I quit.
When Hellkite Courser enters the battlefield, you may put a commander you own from the command zone onto the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to the command zone at the beginning of the next end step. It's a 6/5. Strictly better. Just a straight upgrade. It's going to hurt my CMC, which actually was already pretty solid to start, so I'm not too worried about that. We know it. Acroma's expensive. Gets more expensive. You need ways to get it back out there, so... Like, I see this as a pretty decent fix, and I know Tuck's pointing. Are you pointing at the flavor text?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's this card. Is that it, or is there something more on this card?
Yeah, no. I think I just asked you that.
Well, I'm seeing something here that says the charge was heralded not by horns, but the dragons echoing war.
Ah, it worked. I got him to read it.
Yeah.
Suck it. Yeah, this card's just better. It's. There's nothing too fancy about it, but you need ways to get Acroma back out on the board. I know it costs 6, so that's kind of a woof, but when Acroma already cost 8, we're already prepared for that. So, here we are.
Is that when you start singing Be Prepared from Lion King? Boom! Scar reference.
Wow, that is well done.
No, Hellkite Courser is great. I run this in my Kalia deck. Because, Kali only costs 4, but she's a commander that gets removed a lot, so she might as well cost 8
Yeah.
most of the time.
We talked about that,
Yeah, so this is a perfect card for this deck because it is a beater, and you are allowed to cheat Akroma out and maybe get a one-shot kill. And I hate to say this works kind of with Conjurer's Closet.
Yeah!
You blink it. Yeah. Now, the thing is Akroma's going to go back to the command zone before your next turn anyways, but you do get a blocker Akroma for whoever's turn is after yours. So if it's someone that's like a real big problem, it's like, okay, well, I don't want Hellkite Courser to take the damage. I'll go ahead and bring in Akroma from the command zone because it's free.
Hold on.
And I'll let her take the blunt of it.
Wait a minute. Hold on here. So
it says at the beginning of the next in step, not your next in step.
So actually, couldn't you? No, because the trigger's supposed to go out the step. Never mind.
All right. Moving on to the under 50. Tuck, what are you going to cut? What are you going to add?
Oh, it's me. I am going to cut. These actually are all equal price, so I will switch these around. I'm also going to cut Burning Inquiry. Yeah, fun card, not the right deck for it, unless you want to go into like the Underworld Breach. So I'm pulling in a card type that is not in the entirety of this deck. You do not have a single Planeswalker in this deck.
Yes, he does.
He does?
Yes, he does.
What?
Yeah. Jessica, Thrice Reborn.
Oh, she barely counts. But outside,
to your point,
What?
I have almost no Planeswalkers in any of my decks, for that matter.
that's true. So,
Jessica, and you pump Akroma once, it's a one-shot kill.
well, you can't catch Jessica until you cast Acroma.
Fair.
So,
Still.
yes. Okay, fair enough. There's one other Planeswalker in this deck, and Squee is not known for his Planeswalker acumen. So I think there's another Planeswalker that you can add that recently has been tanking in price, and that one is Chandra, Torch of Defiance. So 2 colorless red for legendary Planeswalker Chandra. Number 1. Exile +1. She comes with 4 loyalty. +1. Exile the top card of your library. You may cast this card. If you don't, Chandra, Torch of Defiance deals 2 damage to each opponent. So again, as you talked about, sifting through your library, getting some incremental damage off of the things that you do or do not need. The only thing that blows there is it's cast, not play. So if you hit a land, you're kind of SOL. +1. +2 red mana, which is really the reason why I think those first 2 abilities are the most important ones, right? You either cycle through your deck and deal some incremental damage, or you ramp out just as another mono red ramp card. -3, Chandra, Torch of Defiance deals 4 damage to target creature. Whatever, not the end of the world. Can pick off a commander early and often, maybe. And then -7, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, this emblem deals 5 damage to any target. So the reason why I like to run a lot of Planeswalkers in Voltron or like mono red is because even if they're not a threat, people always think Planeswalkers are a threat, right? They always see them as like these big scary things that are going to get out of control. And even if you only pay for, cycle out a land or something that you don't need, everyone bends to, and then someone kills it, that's going to be damage directed at the Planeswalker, not you, right? If that doesn't happen, now you have a value engine that will cheat Akroma out effectively 2 turns earlier if you sequence it out right.
Okay.
So again,
Look,
not too.
I don't like Planeswalkers. I don't hate this one though.
Well, that's an improvement.
I
really only think I like it because of the add 2 mana though.
Honestly, that's like 90%. That's what you're gonna do. Let's be all honest here. Oh no,
here's never gonna happen.
So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna cast short.
-3 is just a 1-shot 4 mana expensive removal. I could play a lightning bolt or something a little bit better, for a little more.
And it all works out because you can cast this for 4 +2, and then do Bifrost by 1 and blow up some Soul Ring. Problem solved. It's all coming together.
I'm going to give you a good 50% on that one.
And the 2018 San Diego Comic-Con promo, which I do believe I own, is going for $111.
Whoa!
Yeah, why is this card
nice.
$7, by the way?
It was really expensive. It was like super duper expensive in Modern.
It's like a modal card that gets cut from almost every deck.
No.
Well,
because you basically think about it, with the +1, it only costs 2 colorless to play. 2 colorless, and you have all of these effects. And in theory, planeswalkers can kind of be life gain because it's deterring people from attacking you.
Squee, this will blow your brains. This card used to be like 25 for like a year when it was played in standard.
Y'all are stupid.
All right. Well, we're moving on to my under 50. I am actually going to cut Chaos Moon.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Oh, wow. You're both cutting that
not
one.
a good card.
Look, it's not a good card. In your defense, it is not a good card.
Decidedly not a good card.
It is quite fun.
Three colorless red. And basically, what it says, guys, at the beginning
you didn't want to read the mountain of text?
No. At the beginning of each upkeep, count the number of permanents. If the number is odd, until end of turn, red creatures get +1/+1, and whenever a player taps a mountain for mana, it adds an additional red to the mana pool. If the number's even, until end of turn, red creatures get -1/-1, and if the player taps a mountain for mana, that mountain produces colorless instead of any other type. The reason I'm cutting it is basically every single turn, Squee, you got a 50-50 chance that your mana doesn't tap for anything you need.
Correct.
So get it out. And what we're going to add it for is 1 mana more, I believe, and it's just better. We talked about it in MTG Action 4 News earlier in the week. Gauntlet of Power.
Yep. Slam dunk.
Comes in, pick red. Your red creature, all red creatures get +1/+1, and all mountains will tap for an additional red. It's basically the same thing as this. It's just 1 more mana, and you don't have the 50-50 shot that your deck doesn't get to do anything.
Yep.
That is fair.
Because just imagine, Squee, it's the blue player's turn. Red now taps for colorless, and now you can't do your Pyroblast and stuff. That would be irony, and that would be hilarious.
I would laugh at myself for that one. That would be fun. If I play Chaos Moon and I have to deal with it, I have to deal with it. That's fine. But imagine this. You get Chaos Moon out, then you get double mana. You can get Acroma, maybe equipment, maybe attach it, maybe do some fancy things.
That's what Gauntlet of Power does.
I was going to say,
you get double mana.
Yeah, but Gauntlet of Power is expensive money. I know we're in the under 50. I'm just being realistic.
No, what are you talking about? Expensive money? It's going to be like $10 or $15.
Yeah, this is the time to get it.
It's pre-ordering at 15, but I ain't spending 15 on it. Anyway, look, I'll say this: great cut, great ad. Will not be buying it. We'll put it that way.
Woof.
Sure.
You're a crazy man. Well, with this crazy man, what's your under 50 cut and what's your under 50 ad?
All right, so I am cutting a little ditty called Lightning Phoenix. It's just meh. Like, I don't really understand what it's doing in here. It doesn't really seem to hold any weight.
Go on.
So with Lightning Phoenix, we are looking at 2 colorless, 1 red, Creature Phoenix. It's a rare. Flying Haste, Lightning Phoenix can't block. Not great. At the beginning of your end step, if an opponent does dealt 3 or more damage this turn, you may pay a red, and if you do, return it from the graveyard to the battlefield. It just doesn't have any place in here. It was more or less a spot filler. Like, it doesn't help. Doesn't hurt.
Someday they're going to make a legendary Phoenix that's going to tie all these together. Until that day, by and large, they are great and limited, horrible in Commander.
Yeah, anyways, it needs to go, so I'm swapping that out for Gratuitous Violence. So, 2 colorless, 3 red, enchantment. It's a rare. If a creature you control would deal damage to a creature or player, it deals double that damage to that creature or player instead. Has some flavor text. Only the Cabal could make a fight to the death more deadly. This card's really good in here.
Yeah.
My only beef with this card is it has 3 red pips, and it's mono red, so who cares? Give me all the red pips you want. It doesn't matter to me. Gotta have this in here. Didn't happen to have one in the binder, but this would be a slam dunk add into the deck. Don't really even have that much to say about it.
And I just thought of the perfect meme for Unco AJ to do. He needs to create one with Pip from Lord of the Rings, but it's just a bunch of pips that are red. I'll take all the red pips.
I like it. I like that a lot.
And then mash it up with Pips Don't Lie.
Yeah, what?
But yeah, gratuitous violence, I think, is a staple in any deck that runs red and lives in the red zone. I don't know why you don't run it.
Yeah, you need it.
If you have those two things.
Let me actually... Is it damage you deal or damage your creatures deal?
If a creature you control deals damage to a creature or player.
Yeah, you got to live in the red zone. But I think if you're living in the red zone and you're running red, as long as the pips won't hinder you, I mean, I'd run this in a 3-color deck, 4-color deck even. If you can afford the pips, once again, if you can afford the pips.
All right, now let's talk about this, because you're going to hate this, Mr. Combo, but what about a brash taunter with a gratuitous violence?
All right, we're moving on to the personal recommendations. Big Tuck, what's your cut and what's your ad?
So...
You're cutting Chaos Moon?
Yes. And the issue is there's still a bad moon rising.
Oh.
But it was the wrong kind.
Okay, Credence. What do you got?
Instead of Chaos, we are doing Mr. Combo. Just say it. You know what it is.
Blood Moon?
Yes, sir. Again, just a quality of life improvement here. Blood Moon, 2 colorless and a red for an enchantment, non-basic lands or mountains. Heavy light floating across the landscape, cloaking everything in deep crimson. I don't know what CCR sounds like because I don't listen to music that came out before 1995. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. Chaos Moon, trash. Bad card. Bad card. Chaos Moon is just bad card. Blood Moon, good card. And I say that from a dark pit of despair. Because I don't really hate a card like this.
Tuck, the thing is it doesn't make sense if you're in mono red and you're not running Blood Moon. What are you doing with your life?
I actually completely agree, except for it's a mono red staple unless you are running Duretti. Because you can.
Why?
Because you can hose yourself with a bunch of artifact lands. Yes, that is the only reason. If you are playing mono red, anything but artifacts, staple, no questions asked. And
it's not even mono red artifacts. It's just if you're in mono red utility lands that usually engage with the artifact stuff. Because I mean, let's be honest, you'd only be losing one artifact land and Duretti, because you can only win the one red one.
No. I'd be losing a lot of colorless lands. Like
that's what I was talking about. Utility lands. It's your utility lands that you're really worried about.
Yes.
It's not necessarily the
artifact lands. Yes,
there's only one.
Correct. And
so if you're a psycho and you built a mono red artifact without utility lands, love to see that. And then run Blood Moon.
Love to see that. Love to see Blood Moon. And for better or for worse, this card used to be $1 gazillion. It's like 8 now. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Squee, I think I have a spare if I didn't put it in my cube.
I will, I have a trade for you because I have not a real copy of this. I have a fake copy of this. But I do not own a real copy.
I want your fake copy.
No, I'm going to give you a fake copy for your real copy. It's going to be wonderful. You can proxy into your deck. You already own another copy. Look, it's an equal trade.
I own 2 copies of Blood Moon. I ended up getting the Invocation version for my mono red deck. So then the normal one just got pulled out.
Because that deck's not hard enough to read.
Fake one because you can use the fake one somewhere else because you already own a real one. Since I don't own a real one, I can't use the fake one that I have. And I'm going to hold myself to that.
I won't use it.
It's a beautiful copy. Trust me. It's just a little glossy. It's no big deal.
All right.
I'll take that, Squee.
There you go. All right, guys. Trying to get this thing less than 2 hours. I will go through my personal recommendation. It's pretty simple. I'm cutting Squee from the deck. I don't even need to go into all the reasons why.
It hurts my feelings, but I get it. But it also hurts my feelings.
Should not be in here. But I am adding a card in here, Squee,
Twice the spice,
that I think you'll like. You deal a lot of damage in this deck because that's how your deck wins. So I think Null Spine Dragon is a slam dunk. 5 colorless red creature dragon, 7/5. It has flying. When it comes into play, you may discard your hand and draw cards equal to the damage dealt to target opponent this turn.
Mr. Combo, sorry, pardon. This is coming in from the. So is Null Spine what? Like some sort of mythical beast?
So now I'm going to read the flavor text.
Pretty sure it's Targon video for those again. The home game.
Let's see. Bro, it woke to find vast world in need of a master.
That was I know I say this a lot. That was really good. That was actually really good.
Yeah, you channeled your Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
There we go. Bill and Ted, baby.
Very good.
So yeah, I think Nullspawn Dragon can do some stuff, and I did Squee because I didn't cut Conjuring's Closet. I was trying to get some stuff in here that actually makes that card worthwhile.
I mean, you almost countered your Conjuring's Closet point at the end of the show. You're kind of going backwards here.
No, I'm not, because I'm adding cards that actually make it do something. And this thing is a banger with Conjurer's Closet because you have to be dealing damage to people every turn. You have to be doing that or your deck's not doing what it needs to do. And so being able to blink this, not your commander, blink this at the end of turn. Oh, well, I'd hit 10 damage at this person. I'm going to draw 10 cards. Or, you know what? I gave a bunch of creatures double strike. I dealt 32 damage. I'll draw 32 cards. Yeah. Yes, you don't have Reliquary Tower in the deck, and so you'll have to discard down to hand size, but I'm telling you, Red does not care about binning cards, not because they can get it back. It's a color that's so desperate to get the gas to hand that you really need to do that. And I think Nullspine Dragon can be that quasi backup commander because it is a 7/5 flyer. Yeah. So if Acroma is prohibitively expensive, hey, I'll load up the equipment on it and start swinging in for 12, 14, 15 normal damage. So, and at $3.25, it's pretty darn cheap.
You don't have to sell me on this one. This is I like it. I like it a lot. It's from, let's say,
Shadowmoor?
Yeah, well, no, it's from Shadowmoor, but I was going to say it is from my favorite set outside of unattainable sets like Unlimited and Urza Saga. Those are probably my two favorite sets of cards that are out, but Shadowmoor has to be you could get these cards and use them and have fun with them.
Favorite and that's the set that Reese came out in.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. No, I like this a lot. It's a great cut. It's a great ad. It's perfect. I can't argue with it at all.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't recommend it for your deck if you didn't have Conjurer's Closet. Like, if you ended up deciding to cut Conjurer's Closet, I would say cut this out as well. Sure. Because once again, it's that one-time effect, and the fact that Red doesn't have lots of ways to give no maximum hand size. So unless you're going to put in Thought Vessel, Reliquary Tower, and any other ways you can, it's like, what does it even matter if it's a one-time use and you draw 20 cards if you have to discard
like 3/4 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the only time you ever get to do that. It's like, okay, it was cool, but if you could try to abuse it and do it every one of your turns, that's when the value starts to get really, really good.
Yeah, it gets really gross.
So, all right, Squee, take us home. What is the last cut for your deck? And what is the last ad?
All right. As I mentioned earlier, I'm also cutting Shatter. That's got to go. Adding another Hellkite in here. Hellkite Charger this time. So 4 colorless, 2 red creature Dargon. It's a rare. Flying Haste. Whenever Hellkite Charger attacks, you may pay 7. Woof.
Oh.
If you do untap all attacking creatures, and after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. 5/5 flying. Blah, blah, blah. We're looking for more additional combat phases. We're just swinging through. We're doing other things. It's pretty meat and potatoes in this deck, but I can't imagine a situation where this wouldn't be useful in a Voltron deck that's doing command damage.
Why wouldn't you just do Aggravated Assault?
Great question.
That is a great question.
I'm just curious. It costs a lot less mana, and it's only a lot less mana to play and less mana to activate.
Well, let's just go with for my pick. We'll cut Shatter for Aggravated Assault, aka Hellkite Charger, and we'll just do both of those. No, you have a great point. It's just more double effects that I'm looking for. I want to attack in, swing in more. Like, yeah, you're right. Aggravated Assault makes sense. Don't have any argument to that.
Yeah, I think the only argument you would have is you could pick up a Hellkite Charger for $1.50 opposed to Aggravated Assault cheapest copies $15.90.
Yeah, that also may have something to do with Squee's budget.
But hey, this is no budget, Squee.
We're living the goddamn dream.
Yeah, exactly. Just trade
goddamn dream.
Trade 20 unlimited lands for it. There you go.
Actually, no, I don't even need to trade 20 of them.
13.
No. 8.
There you go.
What?
Yeah, I sold I sold 100 unlimited lands for $180.
Yeah, it's $1.80.
Right.
8, that's 12. We're getting close, but we're at the end of the episode. Good God, this was a marathon. Thanks for actually sticking with us this long. I apologize on behalf of everyone. We just had way too much to talk about.
Yes,
but
indeed.
hey, you guys finally waited. Here's some details about our giveaway from our sponsor, Level 1. So, a little bit of change. What we're actually going to do is we're going to do a custom starter EDH deck for one of you guys. So it'll consist of anywhere from 12 to 15 cards. It'll include your CMD Tower playmat and sleeves to sleeve it up. It'll include the commander plus a bunch of support cards in it, so that way you can get started. And yes, because we wanted to do something Time Spiral wise, we will be modeling it after one of the legends in Time Spiral. So be on the lookout. To enter, it's super simple. Just promote the content we put out there. You get an entry for every interaction you do with on social media, plus being a part of our Patreon community. We will announce the winner on MTG Action Forward News April the 6th and social media soon after. And yes, these giveaways will happen every month. It just kind of depends on what Level 1 Gaming wants to hook you guys up with. But we would live a 5-star review, and for you to follow, do that like button, do the subscribe button, do all that stuff on whatever consumption platform you're watching, listening to. We love the reviews. It helps make us feel like we're actually contributing something to society more than just making sure that the liquor companies stay.
I was gonna say that's not gonna head of ourselves here.
But if you want to reach out to us and find more ways you can enter, here's how you can do that. You can reach me at Mr. Commodore 5 on Twitter, all spelled out except for the 5. Big Tuck, where can they reach you?
I'm still on Twitter. I am almost potentially going to turn my Twitter back on my cell phone.
I didn't know it was off.
It's always been off. You can go to our website, cmdtower.com/BNBE82, where Squee's deck list will be posted. Tuck puts a great article together for all of you.
Thanks.
So please go check it out. He always tries to do something funny at the top. And I do say try. We like to make him feel good.
Okay. That's unnecessary.
And now he feels bad. Look what you did.
I know. Or you can just type in Cathartic Reunion, Mana Vault, Darksteel Ingot, Tower.com. Squee McGee, if people want to get a hold of your Manolith commentary and learn what all nonsense hop sections you put together, how would they do that?
Oh, you can find me at dearsquee@cmdtower.com.
And...
No, there's nothing after the .com. It's pretty straightforward.
Oh, I thought you were going to give him your fax number because clearly you're living in the 90s.
Wow.
He also does have a full audio studio here in Kansas City. So if you want him to work on your projects, send it over the interwebs. He's great to work with. Grade A product, grade A quality. If you would like to hook up our sponsor with the orders you're already doing, guys, let's be honest, just head over to level1gameshop.com. When you place an order in the order notes, just type in CMD Tower so they know that you came from the collective. They do have singles, sealed product, board game accessories, everything you need from a gaming nerd perspective. If you would actually like to help us out financially, though, we would appreciate your patron support at patreon.com/CMDTower. We have 4 different tiers from just the $1 a month to $5 to $15 to $25. And we got budgets and options for everyone. And literally everything does help us upgrade equipment, get you guys more cool products that we give away for free according to your patron tier, and collaborate hopefully with you guys. Once we hit 50 patrons, we're going to start sending out a suitcase with all the recording gear you need, so that way you can sound great and be on Brews and Build yourself.
Hell yeah.
If you can't help out from a monthly perspective, though, but you would like to pick up some of the swag, head over to cmdtower.com/merch. Order the stuff. We have some great discounts, great deals on there. Literally just had someone buy one of each of our different products that we've come out with over the last 13, 14 months, and got a message that was very nice on Facebook being like, look, great playmat, great set of sleeves, quality product. Thank you so much. And that feedback is helpful because, we do put a lot of work and energy into making sure you guys don't get a bunch of crap. Plus, you get additional entries into the monthly giveaways when you're part of the community. So, hey, you should do it. And of course, Pink Royal, thanks for the music provided at the beginning and the end. And T-Coats, our awesome editor. Make sure you guys like the YouTube video. Make sure you hit him up on Twitter if you have your own video editing projects. He's definitely very creative. He has turned our glorified PowerPoint into something actually viewable. So, we're done, finally. Gonna sneak past you there. Akroma. Squee, how do you feel your deck is now? Do you feel like what we've talked about, what we've maybe recommended to cut, what we've recommended to add is going to give it more legs? Are we just making it filthier? Or are you going to stick to your guns and keep really bad cards in here?
Good Lord.
I'll be really honest. I'll probably stick to my guns and keep the really bad cards in here. That being said,
tracks.
The cuts, the ads, they make sense. They track. I can't argue with those. I like them. They would make the deck better. But as we've talked about, the Chaos player might just play a Chaos Moon and have some good time with it. Who knows?
See,
Who knows?
And here's the thing. I appreciate what Squee just said. Your cuts and your ads all make sense, and they'll make the deck better. I just don't want to do it. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If he was like, none of them make sense, it's all nonsense.
You guys are morons.
No.
Yeah, then it's just like, Squee, get the hell out of here. Go.
Like, I didn't even think of aggravated assault. Like, I didn't even think of that. That's much better than my ad. So, like, they do make sense, and they are good cuts, and they are great cards, and people should use them and learn about them. But that's just like, honestly,
you just don't have.
If I'm not going out and buying cards, which I'm not, like, I'm probably not going to throw it in there, and I'm gonna enjoy the shenanigans that are Akroma Angel of Fury.
So you're saying that all Acroma players out there should go and do these things, but you are not that Acroma player.
Yes.
Excellent.
And I'm okay with that.
I give the deck a 10 out of 10 to start, and 11 out of 10 with your ads. We're just gonna keep it at a 10.
So let's not get crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not all horn up rats here.
Look, the amps go to 11.
Here's Squee. How about this?
On this scale, the amps go to 11.
At Big Tuck's going away party, we'll sit you at a pod with me, Forrest Day2 Wong, and Dustin with our 10 out of 10 decks and Acroma, and we'll just see what ends up happening.
Oh, I can't wait to win that game. Cannot wait.
Granted, he could, considering we're all going to be playing blue, and he has all the anti.
I know, it's going to be beautiful. I cannot wait to win that game.
All right, I'm getting the hell out of here. It's 11 p.m.
Magnetic Mountain, baby.